Hey, what's up? What's going on, positive people? I am B+, and you are tuned into the Be Positive Music Show. Of course, only right here on Holy Culture Radio, Sirius XM, channel 140. And I want to send a special shout out to all those that are watching via Glue TV. You guys are a special, exclusive bunch of people. I'm super excited about today's show, as I always am, but today is going to be very, very special, doing something that I've never done before on the show. I'm dedicating the entire show to just one artist, and that artist goes by the name of Jon Keith. Now, I've been a fan of him ever since his early days when he used to rock with Ruslan, with King's Dream Entertainment, and I've kind of followed his career through the years. And what I like most about him is his authenticity and his vulnerability. He's not afraid to speak his mind, but he's also not afraid to admit when he makes mistakes. For those of you that don't know, he just dropped an album called And Fly. It is part 2 of an album that came out, I believe, last year, called Grow Wings. So if you put it all together, it's Grow Wings and Fly. And coupled with the announcement of the album And Fly, he announced that he is working on a movie. Not that he's working on a movie, that he has wrote a movie with a good friend of his. The name of his friend is Noah James. They wrote it at a local pizza shop, and now they are starting some crowdfunding to put together a short film. They're trying to raise $40,000. So you can just go follow him. You can find the information for that. So I'm super excited just about that, because I think that this can be the future where we're merging indie music and also grassroots filmmaking. And I think that honestly, this can be the future of Christian cinema. And I think overall this movie is going to be about anxiety, depression, and suicide, and how finding your center in Christ, you can overcome all of that. And shout out to my homie Nene Parker and Radio U. I believe they just dropped some shorts on YouTube and also on IG just about his process for writing this movie. But what I want to do for this hour, I want to pick the perfect producer, and I have the perfect producer in mind that can bring this thing to life. I'm going to reveal that right here on the show. But in the meantime, I am going to be playing music all featuring Jon Keith throughout the entire hour. And I'm going to go ahead and let you guys know right now, the producer is not Tyler Perry. It's not Tyler Perry. It's just not Tyler Perry. Maybe it can be shot at his studios, but Tyler Perry won't be the producer of this film. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and hop into some music right now. The very first song is by Indie Tribe. The name of the song is Tribe on the Move. Once again, this is the Be Positive Music Show, and we will be right back. Peace.
I'm a wise guy. My tribe will be in sync till we bye. Sky high, now they want slice at a pie ride. Sliding right to my line of sight, I take a side. Don't slide and barely try to win a soul. Hey, God was right about me, right about us. Bless up, I did not leave it to luck. And his eyes on me, so the dove stay up. Keeping my phone on D&D, letting that tunes, it's me and P. Cold been covered too long, I'm freezing. My angels been outweighing my demons. Yes, my tears been joyful, Jesus wept. Bless you, ain't seeing me depressed.
All right, and welcome back to the show, the Be Positive Music Show. If you are a regular watcher or listener of the show, you know I normally stop during these breaks to let you know what you heard, but I won't do that today. I'll do that on the back end, because I want to get into today's topic, which is picking the perfect producer for Jon Keith's movie that he's just written along with his friend Noah James. The name of the movie is called Grow Wings. They're trying to raise $40,000 to just shoot a pilot. And pilots are not a pilot, a proof of concept, a short film. And that's very important as you're trying to tackle this big goal of writing a movie and producing a movie. So it's grassroots. So my first thought was to think about the undisputed grassroots champions of the world as it relates to Christian movies. And that is none other, I should say, than the Kendrick Brothers. Now, the Kendrick Brothers, like, you've seen a movie by the Kendrick Brothers, especially if you're a believer, if you're a Christian. Some of their movies include Facing Giants, Courageous, Fireproof, War Room, and my personal favorite actually is The Forge, and that came out a couple of years ago. They do a very, very good job of just really galvanizing the Christian community. If you're a pastor, you have no reservations about sending anybody in your church or entire ministries of your church to go check out a film that's by the Kendrick Brothers. They oftentimes their movies are coupled with study guides and worksheets. It's very much like a Sunday morning ministry tool in a lot of ways, and they come out in droves to support these movies. So I think that this would be a pretty logical, at least, assumption to consider the Kendrick Brothers to be the producers. But I do feel like there is one clash, and I think the clash is that in this movie that Jon Keith has written along with Noah, it's tackling big issues like depression, anxiety, things that sometimes don't get buttoned up so quickly and put into a nice pretty package. And like, there's no knock to the Kendrick Brothers, but a lot of times those how those movies are. It fixes a singular issue, a struggling marriage, a pornography issue, a child that's wayward, and by the end of the movie, it kind of puts a bow on it. And I think that might be a little too neatly packaged for what Jon Keith is attempting to do here with Grow Wings. So that's my first one. But the next one that I want to bring up is another producer, and he's like on the opposite end of the spectrum, and he goes by the name of DeVon Franklin. Now, DeVon Franklin, you've seen movies by him. He's been around for quite some while. I think my favorite movie by him is Pursuit of Happiness. Just a fantastic movie. But even here recently, he has kind of tried his hand at some more Christian leaning movies, more traditional Christian movies like comedies like Relationship Goals. He's also did a movie called Breakthrough. He's done a movie called Miracles from Heaven. And I think he does a really, really good job. Jesus Revolution, and the list goes on. So I think that he is a nice approach. And it's kind of like on the opposite end of the spectrum than the Kendrick Brothers. But just like that one had a few like potential flaws in it, I think that DeVon Franklin has a few flaws in it as well. And the one that comes to mind is that it might be too polished. I think that sometimes I see this a lot of times in Hollywood movies, like it's like a stressful situation, or it's first thing in the morning and the person looks perfect veneers, hair's laid down perfectly. It just has like this gloss to it. And I think that that kind of is in direct opposition to Indie Tribe. Like Jon Keith is a part of Indie Tribe, and they really lean heavily on the idea that like we're grassroots. We are for the people, by the people. If you've ever been to Smoke Fest, you absolutely get what Indie Tribe is all about and what they're trying to build. So I don't necessarily feel like that is going to be a good producer for them as well. So you don't want to have a traditional studio gloss because it's going to feel too manufactured, but at the same time, you don't want it to be a Sunday sermon, because that's not Indie Tribe's MO either. So I have somebody else in mind. But before we do that, we're going to hop back into some more music. The name of this next song is entitled Fight. It is off of the 116 Summer playlist that came out this year. It is Tory Deshawn, it is Lecrae, and of course, Jon Keith on the song as well. So with that being said, let's get back to some music, and I'll hit you guys with another producer on the backside of this. Peace.
Y'all ain't still been on me. That's right. Blacked out on oxygen, took some shots and found my COD. What's up? Christ the only king. This what we been on since the creed. Thought you needed M's, now you need a G and a O and a D. No, I'm the one and the only. Who else is trying to phone me? That's a new one in the sun. He called me a son and he said don't be lonely. Devil know he not the homie. NGOD, then my OG. It's my time, like Cabaroli. Electric slide in the holy of holy.
Yes, we have reached the halfway point of today's show. We're not going to do a halftime pep talk in the traditional sense, but I do want to really quickly give you kind of a recap of everything we've covered so far in the first 30 minutes of today's show. So I kicked things off just talking about Jon Keith being the feature of today's show and how he wrote a movie And I believe that I can pick the perfect producer to produce this movie. I really believe that I can. And by the end of the hour, I will reveal the producer that I think should be the person that does this. So as a recap, the first producer that I pitched were the Kendrick Brothers. They are known for like Courageous, Fireproof, War Room, movies like that. But I ultimately didn't want to go with them just because I feel like sometimes their movies are more cookie cutter. It's very much, it follows like a traditional sense of like there's a problem, they work, they struggle, and then a pretty bow is on it by the end of it, and that's the movie. And I don't know if the subject matter of this movie is going to lend itself well to, well, I should say it the other way around. I don't think that approach lends itself well to tackling these issues. The next thing that I came up with was DeVon Franklin. Now, he is known for very, very polished movies, has a very Hollywood touch, has a big star in a lot of the movies. He just had Method Man and Kelly Rowland and Relationship Goals. He can definitely pull it off, but I feel like it might be too polished. In Indie Tribe, Jon Keith, it might just be a little bit too gritty for the glossiness of that. So the next one I want to pitch, honestly, has the best of both worlds. I think has the best of both worlds, and that is none other than Dallas Jenkins. Now, a lot of people know him from The Chosen, and how he's pulled off the ministry that goes along with The Chosen is just kind of fascinating. It really is fascinating. It kind of makes him like the undisputed king of crowdfunding, historical biblical epics. Like there's been movies before, but there hasn't been like this ongoing seasons of just putting color and putting some flesh on the bones of these biblical characters. I know some people, they think it's too much because it's reading into the scripture. That's an argument for another day, but I really do feel like it does have like that grittiness that I was saying that the other two examples didn't have. But one thing that comes to mind to throw a little bit of shade and poke some holes in my own theory is that he's really good at taking the grittiness of first century Judea. Like he's taking first century church and putting some contextual and some cultural, like I said, flesh on those bones. But I worry about having his finger on the pulse of the culture and being able to pull off like the opposite end of the spectrum. Like we are in 2026 and being able to really cover some of those issues. And I think that the producer would have to be able to at least do a somewhat good job of landing some of the things that John and Noah want to, I guess, portray in this script. So once again, I feel like we're striking out once again. I've now presented three producers, and I don't really love all of them completely, but I have one more. I'm just gonna say the name. And then we're gonna go to some more music. I'm saying the name and go to some more music. The perfect producer, in my opinion, would be none other than Fredericks, Mr. KevOnStage. I know that might be a little bit of a shock to you, but there's more on the way. I will unpack that and a whole lot more here in a few minutes. But I have a song for you guys right now called More on the Way. It is Derek Minor is featuring Jon Keith, 1K for you, and No Big Deal. You guys keep it locked right here for my big reveal. Peace.
It's more on the way. Made a lot of hits and it's more on the way. I done caused a lot of fits and it's more on the way. Yeah. Oh, you like that? It's more on the way. Yeah. I hear me crying, please, but I cannot hear I'm doing what I please. And I think about what I do if I was Eve, cause I swore that I would never touch the tree. God checked my pride and told me take a seat, cause I know that she ain't even bad as me.
Yes, we are back. This is the Be Positive Music Show. I am B+, and thank you for not running off after I gave my reveal that I believe that KevOnStage is the perfect producer to tell the story that Jon Keith and Noah James want to tell in their script, Grow Wings. So I know it's a shock. I know it's unorthodox, but I really do believe that KevOnStage is the right man for the job. And I know you're probably thinking like some people feel like he's corny. Some people think that he's too cheesy. He will tell you himself that he's a square. He will tell you that he's a church kid. But at the same time, I really do believe that Kev has his finger on the pulse of culture in a way that very few have. For all the holes that I showed in the Kendrick Brothers, DeVon Franklin, and also Dallas Jenkins, I think that Kevin completely solves all those. And I'm going to kind of talk a little bit about that. I have a ton of notes, but I just want to speak from my heart. So I'm gonna glance over a little bit, but I think the best way to say this is I will call this the Jordan Peele effect. That's what I would call it. Very unorthodox. I think if for those who don't know Jordan Peele, a lot of people feel like he stole Dave Chappelle's whole bit when he took his hiatus, but a lot of sketch humor, very silly, very slapstick, almost awkwardly like funny, sometimes not funny. Like, but if they would have told you that he will go on to be like this film, like one of the greatest dramatic filmmakers of all time, in my opinion. Like when he came out with Get Out, it threw everybody off, and he followed up with Nope, and I believe Us as well. I think that comedians often make the best dramatic films. I think they understand timing better than most. I think that they're able to build tension and hold tension in the room and like hold it almost till like you start to squirm and feel uncomfortable. Then they are able to execute emotion. KevOnStage right now is on tour called Grief Sucks, about the passing of his brother, and like to be able to do a comedy tour about something just as heavy as grief, I think that directly connects to what Jon Keith is trying to portray with anxiety, depression, suicidal ideation. I think that KevOnStage would do a fantastic job of this. He really understands Hollywood. He's not technically Hollywood, but like what he did over the pandemic. The pandemic, we were all trapped in the houses. What he did with the comedy tour there, I forgot the name of it. It's slipping my mind because it's not in my notes. But like he did that Keep Your Distance tour. He did that. He did the comedy tour with Tony Baker and Tahir and all those guys, Patrick Cloud, all those people. He really understands Hollywood, even though he's not Hollywood. He created his own app. Like he didn't have to go through Netflix because he created his own. And he'll tell you how he learned a lot through that failure, but he's still standing on the other side. And now he has deals with Tubi. He has deals with BET. He's really doing this thing. So shout out to Kev for that. But I believe that taking his Christian background, his internet savvy, his community-led approach, and his ability to collaborate. He collaborates with everybody in the industry and gives them a platform to really showcase their talent. I think with all that, I think that it's a no-brainer. I think that he can really pull it off. So that's my pick. My pick is none other than KevOnStage. So with that being said, I'm gonna hit you guys with one of my favorite songs off of Jon Keith's new project called And Fly. The name of the song is called You Can Always Come Back Home, and it's featuring Chance the Rapper. We'll be right back right after these messages. Peace.
I know it's been a minute since I came by the house. I've been saying I'ma slide when I'm coming out south, but I slide past it every day when I be out on my route. Cause I'm a mover and a shaker, I be out and about.
Why don't we find a place to be? We can two-step, maybe just leave. Baby, honest, I'll be honest. All this talking way too toxic. You really turn my key.
Jesus, I've been here before, chasing what I couldn't hold. You were the lighter that put that fire in my soul.
All right, this has been the Be Positive Music Show, of course, right here on Holy Culture Radio, Sirius XM channel 140. Hope you guys enjoyed today's show where we featured Jon Keith, and I unpack for you who I believe the best producer for his script would be. And that is, once again, KevOnStage, not the Kendrick Brothers, not DeVon Franklin, not Dallas Jenkins, definitely not Tyler Perry. It is Kevin Fredericks. So let's give you guys a rundown of each and every song that I played on today's show. Again, all the songs were featuring Jon Keith, or Jon Keith is a part of that group. I kicked things off with a song called Tribe on the Move. That is by Indie Tribe. Of course, Indie Tribe is Tory Deshawn. It is Jon Keith. It's No Big Deal. It's Moses the Iceberg, and is DJ Mike LV, the voice of Christian hip hop. The next song I played was God Was Right. That was by the West Indies, and that is Jon Keith and Miles Minnick. Shout out to Miles Minnick, Double XL freshman. The next song I played was entitled Nobody But God. That was by Aaron Cole. Shout out to him. He has a song, well, he got a song cleared by Usher. Like, what are we doing? That's crazy. So shout out to Aaron Cole. It was also featuring Paris Carriz and, of course, Jon Keith. And the next song I played during the second quarter set was entitled Fight, and that was by Lecrae, Tory Deshawn, and Jon Keith. I'm going to keep saying Jon Keith just because I want to drive the point home to go check him out if you haven't checked him out before. The next song I played was entitled Damage, and that was by 350 featuring Jon Keith. And after our halftime pep talk, the very first song I played was by Derek Minor, 1K for You, No Big Deal, and Jon Keith. The name of the song was called More on the Way. The next song I played was entitled King, and that was by Belief. Shout out to Belief and Jon Keith. Side note, I don't know if you guys know, but Belief has a short film called, I think it's called Black Boy Joy. Black Boy Joy. If you haven't checked it out, go check it out. If I'm butchering the name, charge it to my head, not my heart. But it's featuring Jon Keith, and Jon Keith is the main character of that short. It's fantastic. So he definitely has chops to act. So, and then for the fourth quarter set, the first song I played was off of Jon Keith's new project entitled And Fly. The name of the song is featuring, You Can Always Come Back Home, featuring Chance the Rapper. The song after that I played was called Wouldn't You Rather. That was by DJ Mike LV, again, the voice of Christian hip hop, Jon Keith, and Paul Russell. And then the other song, or the last song I played, I'm out of breath, y'all, sorry, is called Morning Into Dancing. It is by Ten Rock. If you haven't checked out Ten Rock's project entitled God Is a Person, do yourself a favor. Check that joint out. It is absolutely fantastic. Probably my favorite album of the year so far. Again, the name of the song is called Morning to Dancing. Sorry, I'm out of breath. I've been talking for a whole hour. And then, so we're done. We're done. So guys, thank you so much for checking out this video. If you have another producer in mind that you think would be great, feel free to let me know. Hit me up over on Twitter. I could be found at DJ_B_plus. Also the same handle on IG. If you're watching this on YouTube or Glow TV, you can make sure you drop down and let me know who you think a great producer would be, or if you have holes, other holes, and some of the other producers I named. The KevOnStage take is flawless, so there's no holes in that. There's no holes in it at all, so don't even try. So that's what I got for today's show. I have a few more minutes left, so I start the show with Indie Tribe, so we're going to end the show with Indie Tribe. The name of the song I'll get you guys on the way out is called No Matter What. I am B+. This has been the Be Positive Music Show, and until next time, peace in, confusion out, and be positive.